It is back in the form of HBO Max to terrorize some kids in It, Welcome to Derry. Hi, my name's Zach, and today I'm giving you my ranking for all 4 It projects from the worst to the best. Before we start, be sure to join me down in the comments section. Let me know what you guys think of the It franchise. How would you rank all 4 projects that have been in this franchise so far? Also, I started this YouTube channel because I cannot watch a movie without needing to talk about it afterwards. And if that sounds like you are in the right place, my friend. Consider hitting that subscribe button. With that said, let's get started in last place with It, the 1990 miniseries. And I can see some people having this higher up on their list if they grew up with this iteration of Pennywise. I saw It, the 1990 miniseries, when It, the 2017 version, was coming out. Almost like homework to get caught up before I went to go see It Chapter 1. And for me, this miniseries has aged pretty poorly. Now, this was made for network television at the time, so a lot of its bite, a lot of the edge that comes with the It series is limited and pulled back in this one because they can't show the gruesome violence that is almost required in the storytelling. So there's a lot of sequences where when something terrifying is about to happen, they just zoom in on someone's face and then cut away to a commercial break. It makes the horrifying nature of the It story really lose the impact that is needed for this story to resonate. Now, I do think that the kid portion of the miniseries is pretty well done. I like all the kid actors. There's a young Seth Green in there, which is kind of fun to see. I do think they work as the Losers Club, and Tim Curry in here as Pennywise does give a very fun, flamboyant performance at times. But when it comes to the adult portion of this miniseries, it is such a drag and a slog to get through. I don't particularly like a lot of the adults in this, even though a lot of them are notable names from the times. I mean, Annette O'Toole is in here as Beverly, but a lot of the chemistry just doesn't work. A lot of the story elements from the kid perspective to the adult perspective just come across as corny. A lot of it comes across as so bad it's good. Even Tim Curry's performance kind of takes a change when you get into the adult aspect of this story, where he kind of becomes more annoying to the adults, and his performance gets a lot more comical to me than it does in the kid portion of this miniseries.
Do you have Prince Albert in a can? You do? Well, you better let the poor guy out.
Also, just a lot of the effects that they tried to pull off for network TV at this time do not hold up, do not look very good. And so by the time you get to the end of this 3-hour-long miniseries epic, it just kind of ends on a whimper, and it makes this feel like a lot of it was just a waste of my time. And speaking of a waste of time, unfortunately, that's got to bring us to It Chapter 2. Now, It Chapter 2, I do have to kind of preference this. This is quite a significant jump from the It miniseries, where this is a very well-made film. It's very competently made. It's big and grand in scope and size for the It franchise. It is worthy of being on the cinematic screen. Also, the cast in this is stellar, with names such as Jessica Chastain, Bill Hader, James McAvoy is in here. And you do get segments with the kids from the first part intersected into the story. But unfortunately, when it comes to It Chapter 2, I just feel like the magic that they have in the first part was completely lost here. In fact, it doesn't even feel like they set out to make a horror movie to me in It Chapter 2. It feels like Andy Muschietti and the entire cast and crew were having so much fun making this film that the fun and the laughter that was being had on set kind of seeped its way into the story and into the movie itself, where almost every scare that they attempt to do is undercut with a joke. A lot of the ideas in here, I do feel like get goofier than I feel like they were intended to be on the screen. And for that reason, the terrifying nature of Pennywise feels completely lacking here. Even Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise isn't giving as intense of a performance as Pennywise as he did in the first part. But I think the big killer of It Chapter 2 for me personally is the fact that this is a near 3-hour long movie, and so much of it feels like the story is meandering, where our characters have to go and find these artifacts that unlock a memory from their childhood, that they retcon and rewrite history from the first film, or just fill in a patch from the first film that never really needed to be filled in and doesn't really feel like it makes any sense. Like, when did the Losers Club suddenly have a clubhouse that they all went and hung out at? It just doesn't feel like it meshes as well with the first part as they want it to. Again, it's got some great performances, it's directed fairly well, but even some of the CGI elements in It Chapter 2 are very poor and take me out of the movie, where we'll talk about it in a minute. I love that first part. I almost can't stand to watch It Chapter 2. And that's going to bring us to our runner-up, which is It Welcome to Derry. Now, as I just mentioned, I found that It Chapter 2 was kind of hard to get through and lost the magic that I feel the first part had. It Welcome to Derry brought that magic back, where Muschietti was able to capture the same kind of essence and feel with the kid story of it that he was able to capture in the first part. All of the kid actors here are great. As their dynamics change and grow and their bond increases throughout the series, I get more and more attached to them. But even with the kids, they do throw in adults into the storyline, and they're able to balance out all of these characters and storylines fairly well. Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise in this series is probably the most terrifying he has ever been as Pennywise. There are so many great moments with Pennywise in this series that it's actually hard to believe that they are able to do this stuff on TV, where a lot of these sequences are more terrifying, more gruesome, more grotesque, and just intense than what the movies had to offer us. And when it comes to the heart of this series, they really managed to capture a lot of what I like about the first It. Where the core of this is using the story of Pennywise to have these kids learn to face their fears and grow up. And I've always just loved that part of it, and they were able to recapture that in this series while also making it scary, while also making it incredibly intriguing with some mystery. They also do a background story for Pennywise himself, and they're able to do it in a way where it doesn't feel like it detracts from the character, it doesn't detract from the other movies. In fact, it just enhances and enriches it all. So I was very blown away by just how emotionally invested I was into It Welcome to Derry. I was very impressed with Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise. Arguably, this could be his best performance as the character out of all three projects that he has done as Pennywise. The kids were great, the story was intriguing, the storylines all came together in a way that actually made sense and felt cohesive for the story overall. I hope they get a season 2. I really enjoyed season 1, and it's some of the best It material out there that's in this medium form. But coming in at number 1 is going to be It 2017, and honestly, number 2 and number 1, they're kind of neck and neck for me at the moment. I've just spent and lived in with It 2017 longer than I have with It Welcome to Derry, so I'm not comfortable putting that over this film, because this is arguably my favorite horror film of all time. Now, a lot of that is because of when I saw it. I didn't grow up watching horror films. I didn't grow up watching R-rated movies until I was of age. So it was kind of the first movie that I was of age to go see a horror in theaters. So it is my first horror movie that I ever saw in theaters. My friends dragged me to it because at the time I was a very big scaredy cat and everyone knew it and they wanted to see me freak out. And freak out I did in the theater. Pennywise creeped me out. There are so many sequences that build on suspense, that build on the fear. But what I took away from it, and what I continue to go back to it for, is that story of the Losers Club, where you got these kids that are all misfits, they're all outcasts in their high school and just society in general, and they come together to help each other face their fears and grow up. And that to me is the core essence of it that makes it work for me, where you've got Bill, who's lost Georgie as his brother, and this whole story is him trying to find his brother and find out what happened to him. As an older brother myself, that really resonated with me, to the point that at the end of the movie, when Bill finds Georgie's raincoat and is holding it and crying, I remember tearing up in the theater because it just hit me so hard. But on top of all the emotion, the cast is fantastic. The 80s aesthetic and just environment that Andy Muschietti was able to recapture and display on the screen is great. He totally makes this feel like an authentic 80s product that would be from the 80s. All the kids act like kids. They curse. They say things around each other that they would never say in front of adults. And Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise really sells the whole thing. The first couple minutes of it with Pennywise in the sewer drain talking to Georgie is some of the most bone-chilling I've experienced while watching a horror film in the cinemas. I love that at the center of the story, it's not about the clown, it's about the kids. It's about their journey and them getting over their fears by bonding together and eventually taking out the monster that has inflicted fear onto them. And they inflict fear back onto Pennywise in the process. So It Chapter 1 takes the best aspects of the story of It and is able to put them into this nice, satisfying package of a narrative where even if there wasn't an It Chapter 2, the way that It Chapter 1 ends is such a triumphant victory for our kids, which is a creepy, horrific, but at the center of it, emotionally satisfying journey that ever since 2017, I've enjoyed going back to, retaking that journey, visiting the Losers Club, and for that reason, It Chapter 1 is my number one favorite It movie. How would you rank the It projects? Comment down below. Let me know all your thoughts and opinions on that. If you like horror content, I got some more horror rankings you can check out right out there. I've also got the most recently uploaded video you can check out right down there. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. And don't just watch movies, talk movies. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.